My family has controlled every decision I've ever made. In 5 minutes, I'm getting in his car and never coming back. I grew up in a strict traditional household where everything was already decided for me before I could walk. What I would study, who I would marry, how many children I would have. My parents immigrated here before I was born, and they held on to the old ways like a lifeline. I was their only daughter, and they had big plans for me. When I was 12, my mother sat me down and told me I would marry a boy named Raj when I turned 21. He was the son of my father's business partner back home. I had never met him. I had never even seen a picture of him. But according to my parents, this was an honor and I should be grateful. I nodded and said yes because that's what I always did. I was the perfect daughter. I got straight A's. I never talked back. I wore what they told me to wear and went where they told me to go. I had no friends outside of our community because my parents didn't trust American kids. My entire life was controlled down to the minute. When I turned 16, I started working at my uncle's restaurant after school. That's where I met him. His name was Danny, and he worked in the kitchen washing dishes. He had messy brown hair and green eyes and a crooked smile that made my stomach flip every time I saw it. The first time we talked, he made me laugh so hard I snorted, and I was so embarrassed I avoided him for a week. But he kept finding ways to talk to me. He would leave little notes in the order window. He would save me extra naan from the kitchen. He would time his breaks to match mine so we could sit outside together. I had never felt anything like it. I had never been allowed to feel anything like it. We started sneaking around to see each other. I would tell my parents I was studying at the library and meet him at the park instead. We would sit on the swings and talk for hours about everything and nothing. He told me about his dreams of becoming a music teacher. I told him I didn't know what my dreams were because no one had ever asked me. He looked at me with those green eyes and said I had time to figure it out, that maybe figuring it out was the whole point. I fell in love with him slowly, and then all at once. By the time I turned 18, I knew I couldn't marry Raj. I couldn't marry someone I had never met while the boy I loved was right in front of me. I told Danny about the arrangement, and he held my hands and said we would figure it out together. For 2 years, we planned in secret. I took extra shifts and hid the money in a shoebox under my bed. Danny picked up a second job and saved every dollar. We researched apartments in cities far enough away that my family wouldn't find us. We made a timeline. We made a budget. We made promises to each other that we would see this through no matter what. Last month, I turned 20. My mother started talking about wedding preparations. She showed me pictures of dresses and venues. She talked about flying Raj over to meet me properly before the ceremony. I smiled and nodded like I always did, but inside I was screaming. I couldn't do this anymore. I couldn't pretend to be the perfect daughter while planning to disappear. Danny could see I was breaking. He moved our timeline up. He found us an apartment 3 states away. He got a job lined up at a school that needed a music teacher assistant. He told me we could leave whenever I was ready. Tonight I'm ready. My parents are asleep. My bags are packed and hidden in my closet. I wrote them a letter explaining everything. I told them I loved them, but I couldn't live the life they chose for me. I told them about Danny. I told them I was sorry for disappointing them, but I wasn't sorry for choosing myself. I don't know if they'll ever forgive me. I don't know if they'll ever speak to me again. Part of me wants to crawl back into bed and pretend none of this is real. But then I think about Danny waiting for me at the bus station with 2 tickets and a future we built together. I think about waking up tomorrow in a new city where no one knows my name. I think about finally being free to figure out who I am and what I want. My phone just buzzed. It's Danny. He says he's parked down the street with the engine running. He says he loves me. He says whenever I'm ready. I'm picking up my bags now. I'm walking to my bedroom door. I'm taking one last look at the room I grew up in and the life I'm leaving behind. My hand is on the doorknob. In 5 minutes, I'll be in his car driving towards something terrifying and beautiful and completely my own. I've never made a single decision for myself in 20 years. Tonight, I'm making the biggest one of my life. I slip out the front door and the cold air hits my face. My bags feel heavy in my hands. Danny's car is parked 3 houses down with the headlights off. I walk fast, trying not to run, trying not to look back at my house. The street is empty and dark. No lights on in any windows. No one to see me leave. I reach the car and Danny leans over to open the passenger door. I throw my bags in the back seat and climb in. He looks at me and I look at him and neither of us says anything for a second. Then he puts the car in drive and we pull away from my street. My hands are shaking. I watch my neighborhood disappear in the side mirror. The houses get smaller and smaller until I can't see them anymore. We get on the highway and Danny reaches over to hold my hand. His palm is sweaty. Mine probably is too. The dashboard clock says 2:47 a.m. We have 8 hours of driving ahead of us. I keep checking my phone even though I turned off the location services yesterday. No messages yet. My parents are still asleep. They don't know I'm gone. They'll find the letter in the morning when they come to wake me up for breakfast. I try not to think about my mother's face when she reads it. I try not to think about my father tearing it up. Danny turns on the radio but keeps it low. Some late-night talk show I've never heard before. He's driving exactly the speed limit. His eyes keep flicking to the rearview mirror like someone might be following us. No one is following us. No one even knows we left yet. The highway is almost empty. Just a few trucks and cars scattered across the lanes. I watch the mile markers go by. Each one takes us farther from everything I've ever known. My chest feels tight. I roll down the window a crack and let the cold air in. It helps a little. Danny asks if I'm okay, and I nod because I don't trust my voice right now. He squeezes my hand. We drive through the dark, and I watch the world change outside my window. Different exits, different towns, different states eventually. The sun starts coming up around 6. The sky turns pink and orange and then blue. Danny pulls into a gas station, and we both get out to stretch. My legs are stiff. My back hurts. I use the bathroom and splash water on my face. When I come out, Danny has bought us coffee and breakfast sandwiches. We eat in the car. The coffee tastes bad, but I drink it anyway. We keep driving. The GPS says we have 2 more hours. I check my phone. Still nothing. It's almost 8 now. My parents are definitely awake. They've definitely found the letter. I turn my phone off completely and put it in my bag. Danny glances at me but doesn't say anything. We cross into our new state around 9. Everything looks different here. Flatter, more spread out. Different trees. We take the exit for our new city and follow the GPS through streets I've never seen before. Old buildings, chain restaurants, strip malls. Nothing like home. We pull up to our new apartment building at 9:43 a.m. It's a 3-story brick building that looks like it was built 50 years ago. The paint is peeling off the window frames. There's a rusty fire escape on one side. Danny parks in the lot behind the building. We sit there for a minute looking at it. This is home now. We get out and grab our bags. Danny has the key from the landlord already. We walk up to the 2nd floor and he unlocks apartment 2C. The door sticks a little when he pushes it open. I step inside and my stomach drops. The apartment is tiny. 1 room with a kitchenette in the corner and a bathroom the size of a closet. The walls are white, but the paint is peeling in places. The carpet is brown and stained. There's 1 window that looks out at the parking lot. The whole place smells like old cigarettes and something else I can't identify. Danny sets his bags down and turns to me. He can see my face. He says it's just temporary, just until we both get settled in our jobs and save up some money. He says we can make it nice. We can get some plants and posters and make it feel like home. I nod, but I can't stop looking around. I've never lived anywhere except my parents' house. My bedroom there was twice the size of this entire apartment. I had my own bathroom with a bathtub. I had a walk-in closet. I had windows that looked out at our garden. This place has 1 small window and a bathroom where the shower is basically inside the toilet. Danny comes over and hugs me. He says we did it. We're really here. We're free. I hug him back, but all I can think is, what did I just do? I spend the first week learning the coffee shop routine. How to work the register. How to steam milk without burning it. How to smile at customers even when my hands are shaking. The manager hired me because they were desperate for help, and I was willing to work early mornings. I show up at 5:30 every day and help set up before we open at 6. My coworker is a girl named May, who's maybe a year or 2 older than me. She has short black hair and wears band shirts under her apron. She talks fast and makes jokes with the regular customers and seems completely comfortable in her own skin. I watch her and wonder what that feels like. On my 4th day, a customer comes in speaking my parents' language, not to me, just on his phone. But I hear it and my chest gets tight. My hands start sweating. I can't breathe right. I mess up his order twice and May has to remake it while I stand there trying not to cry. She doesn't say anything until our break. We sit outside in the alley behind the shop and she asks if I'm okay. I tell her I'm fine. She looks at me for a long time and then says she gets panic attacks too, that sometimes the world gets too loud and she has to step away. She doesn't ask me why it happened. She just tells me that next time I should signal her and she'll cover my register. The next week it happens again. An older woman who looks like she could be from my parents' community. Same clothes, same way of moving. I freeze up completely. May catches my eye and takes over without making it obvious. After work, she asks if I want to come to dinner at her place. Her mom is making too much food like always, and her brother will be there. I almost say no because the idea of meeting anyone's family makes me want to throw up. But May has been kind to me and I don't have anywhere else to go. Danny works late on Thursdays. I follow her to an apartment building 6 blocks from ours. Her brother Rodrigo is the building superintendent. He's older than us and has the same quick smile as May. Their mom Hala is in the kitchen when we walk in. She's small and round with gray hair pulled back in a bun. She hugs May and then looks at me and smiles. She doesn't hug me, but she squeezes my hand. The apartment smells like garlic and spices I don't recognize. We sit at the table and Hala brings out dish after dish. Rice and vegetables and chicken cooked in a red sauce. She asks me questions, but they're easy questions. Where I'm from. What I think of the city. If I like working at the coffee shop. I answer carefully. I don't mention my family or why I left. But somehow the conversation turns to weddings. Rodrigo is talking about a couple in the building who just got engaged. Hala makes a face and says arranged marriages never work. May looks at her mom surprised. Hala keeps talking. She says when she was 19, her parents wanted her to marry a man from their village. A good man. a man with prospects. But she didn't love him. She barely knew him. So 2 weeks before the wedding, she got on a bus and left. Came to this country with nothing. Met May's father a year later. She looks at me when she says this. Really looks at me. Like she knows. Like she can see everything I'm carrying. She doesn't ask me anything. She just pats my hand and tells me to eat more. I cry the whole walk home. Not sad crying. Something else. Something I don't have words for. When I get back to our apartment, Danny is already there. He's on the couch with his laptop looking at something. He asks how dinner was, and I tell him it was good. He says his mom called. Wants to know if we're coming home for Thanksgiving. I freeze. Home. Like his parents' house is supposed to be my home now, too. I tell him I can't do that. He looks confused. Says it's just Thanksgiving. Just his family. Says they're excited to meet me finally. I try to explain that I can't be around anyone's parents right now. That even thinking about sitting at a family table makes me feel sick. He doesn't get it. He says we're free now. We did the hard part. We left. Why can't I just be happy? I want to scream. I want to tell him that running away didn't fix anything. That I still carry all of it with me. The guilt. The fear. The voice in my head that sounds like my mother telling me I'm a disappointment. But I don't know how to say any of that. So I just say I'm not ready. He gets quiet. Says fine. Says he'll tell his mom we're not coming. But I can tell he's hurt. He thinks I don't want to meet his family. He doesn't understand that it's not about them. It's about me and everything I'm still trying to figure out. We don't talk much the rest of the night. He goes to bed early. I stay up staring at my phone. No new messages. No missed calls. My parents have stopped trying to reach me. I don't know if that's better or worse. The next Saturday, Hala calls me. May must have given her my number. She asks if I want to help with her catering business. She does parties and events on weekends. She needs an extra pair of hands. The pay is decent. Better than the coffee shop. I say yes before I really think about it. That Saturday, I show up at her commercial kitchen space. It's in the back of a restaurant that's closed during the day. Hala is already there with ingredients everywhere. She hands me an apron and puts me to work chopping vegetables. We make dishes I've never made before. Things my mother would never let me cook. Hala talks while we work. Tells me about her life. About leaving her family. About the years of silence before her mother finally wrote to her. She doesn't ask about my story, but I know she's telling me hers for a reason. We work for 6 hours. My feet hurt and my back aches, but I feel good. Useful. Like I'm learning something real. At the end, Hala pays me in cash and asks if I want to come back next week. I say yes. Over the next few weeks, I fall into a new routine. Coffee shop in the mornings, classes I'm not taking, catering with Hala on weekends. Danny and I are okay, but something feels off. He's busy with his teaching job. I'm busy with work. We see each other at night, but we're both tired. We don't talk about Thanksgiving again. We don't talk about my family. We don't talk about much of anything important. 4 months after we left, I'm sitting in our apartment looking at my laptop. I've been thinking about school. About actually going to college. Not the program my parents chose. Something I choose. I look up community colleges in the area. Find one that has rolling admissions. I fill out the application. I apply for financial aid. I write an essay about why I want to study. I don't mention my family, but I write about wanting to make my own choices. About wanting to learn. 2 weeks later, I get accepted. I get enough financial aid to cover most of the tuition. I'll have to take out a small loan for the rest. When I tell Danny he's happy for me. Says he's proud of me. But then he asks about the cost. About whether we can afford it. I tell him I'll figure it out. I'll work more hours. I'll make it work. He nods, but I can see he's worried. We're already barely making rent. Our car is held together with prayer. We eat rice and beans most nights because it's cheap. Adding school costs feels impossible. But I'm doing it anyway. This is the first time I've chosen something completely on my own. Not because my parents told me to. Not because Danny suggested it. Just because I want it. I register for 2 classes. Introduction to Psychology. English Composition. Classes that sound interesting. Classes that might help me figure out what I actually want to study. My first day I'm so nervous I almost don't go. But I make myself walk into that classroom and sit down. The professor hands out the syllabus. Starts talking about the course. I take notes. I raise my hand once to ask a question. It feels like the biggest thing I've ever done. That week I come home to find an envelope on our doorstep. No return address. Just my name written in handwriting I recognize. My mother's handwriting. My hands shake when I open it. Inside is a letter. 2 pages. She writes that she knows where I am. That my uncle told her. She writes that I've brought shame on our family. That my father won't speak my name. That Raj was humiliated. His family has ended their business relationship with my father. She writes that she's willing to forgive me. That I can come home. That Raj is a good man who's willing to overlook my dishonor if I come back now. That we can still have the wedding. That we can tell people I was sick or studying abroad or whatever story makes this go away. She writes that all I have to do is leave Danny, come home, marry Raj, never speak of this shameful period again. She signs it with her name. Not love, not your mother, just her name. I read it 3 times. Then I fold it up and put it back in the envelope. Danny comes home an hour later. He sees the envelope on the table. Asks what it is. I tell him. He reads the letter. His face gets red. He asks if I'm considering it. I say no, of course not. But he keeps pushing. Asks why I even kept the letter. Why I didn't throw it away immediately. Asks if part of me wants to go back. I get angry. Tell him I'm not considering it, but that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. That doesn't mean I don't miss my family even though they want me to give up everything I've built. He says I haven't built anything. We've been here 4 months. I work at a coffee shop and go to community college. That's not a life. I ask him what he thinks we're doing here then. He says he doesn't know anymore. Says he thought we were building a life together. Says he gave up everything to be with me and now I'm acting like I'm not sure. I tell him I am sure about leaving. I'm sure about not marrying Raj. But I'm not sure about anything else. I'm not sure who I am. I'm not sure what I want. I'm not sure if I even know how to be in a relationship when I've never been allowed to figure out who I am first. He looks at me like I just hit him. We don't talk the rest of the night. The next day I call May. Tell her I need to talk. We meet at a park near her apartment. I tell her everything. About the letter. About the fight with Danny. About how I feel like I traded one life where someone else made all my decisions for another life where I'm just following Danny's plan. She listens. Then she says something that hits me hard. She says choosing myself doesn't mean choosing Danny over my family. It means learning to be alone. Learning to be okay with just me. Not my parents' daughter, not Danny's girlfriend. Just me. I start crying. She hugs me. Says it's okay to not have it all figured out. Says it's okay to need space. Says real love means giving each other room to grow even when it's hard. When I get home, I tell Danny we need to talk. I tell him I need space, not a breakup. Just space to figure out who I am without my parents defining me, but also without him being my whole world. He's hurt. Says he doesn't understand. Says we ran away together. We're supposed to be together. I try to explain that I've never been alone. I've never made decisions just for me. I went from my parents' house to our apartment. From their rules to our relationship. I need to know who I am when I'm just myself. He asks what that means practically. I don't know. I just know I need it. We leave it there. Awkward and unresolved. But something has shifted. 5 months after we left, everything falls apart. Danny comes home one Tuesday with news. The music school offered him a better position. Real teaching. Not just assisting. In another city 2 hours away. Better pay. Actual benefits. Health insurance. A future. He's excited. Says this is what we've been working toward. Says we can get a better apartment. Says I can transfer my college credits. Says it's a fresh start. I feel sick. I just started building something here. My job with Hala. My classes. My friendship with May. The coffee shop where I'm finally starting to feel comfortable. This city where I'm learning to be myself. He wants me to pack it all up and follow him. Again. He sees my face. Asks what's wrong. I tell him I don't want to move. He laughs. Says I'm joking. I say I'm not. I say I need to stay here. I need to finish what I started. He stops laughing. Says he turned down other opportunities to come here with me. Says he took a lower paying job in a city he didn't know because I needed to get away. Says now that he has a chance to do better, I'm telling him no. I say I'm not telling him no. I'm telling him I can't go with him. He can take the job. He should take the job. But I need to stay. We fight for hours. He says I'm being selfish. Says he gave up everything for me. I say I never asked him to give up anything. I say he chose to come with me. That's different from me asking him to give up his life. He says it's the same thing. Says if I loved him, I would come with him. I tell him I do love him. But I also love myself. And right now, I need to choose myself. He asks what that means for us. I don't know. He says he needs an answer. He has to tell the school by Friday. I tell him to take the job. He stares at me. Asks if I'm breaking up with him. I say no. I say we can try long distance. We can visit. We can figure it out. He says long distance doesn't work. I say maybe it will for us. He leaves. Walks out of the apartment. Doesn't come back until late. When he does, we don't talk. We just lie in bed staring at the ceiling. On Friday, he accepts the job. He starts in 3 weeks. We spend those weeks pretending everything is fine. We pack his stuff. We talk about visiting schedules. We make plans that we both know probably won't happen. The day he leaves, I help him load his car. We stand in the parking lot. He asks one more time if I want to come with him. I say I can't. He nods, kisses me, gets in his car, drives away. I watch until I can't see him anymore. Then I go back to our apartment. Except it's not our apartment anymore. It's just mine. I sit on the floor and cry for a long time. Not because I made the wrong choice, but because I made a choice at all. 2 months pass. Danny and I text sometimes, call occasionally. But the distance isn't just physical. We're both changing, growing into different people. One night he calls, says he met someone, not dating her, but he likes her. He feels guilty. I tell him it's okay. I'm not angry. I'm sad, but I'm not angry. He asks if I've met anyone. I say no, I've been focusing on the school and work, on figuring out who I am alone. He says maybe that's what we both needed, to figure ourselves out separately. I agree. We talk for a few more minutes, then we say goodbye. Not forever goodbye. Just goodbye for now. I hang up and sit in my quiet apartment, not sad exactly, just aware that something important ended and something else is beginning. 3 weeks later, I sit at my kitchen table with a blank piece of paper in front of me. I've started this letter 7 times. Each version ends up crumpled in the trash. I don't know how to tell my parents I'm not coming home without making it sound like I hate them. I don't hate them. I just can't live the life they planned anymore. I pick up my pen again. I write that I'm safe, that I have a job and an apartment, that I'm taking classes at the community college. I write that I miss them, that I think about them every day, that I want them in my life if they can accept that I make my own choices now. I don't apologize for leaving. I apologize for the pain I caused, but not for choosing myself. I read it 3 times. It's not perfect, but it's honest. I fold it into an envelope and address it to my mother. I walk to the post office before I can change my mind. The letter disappears into the blue mailbox and I stand there for a minute wondering if she'll even read it. Months pass. I work morning shifts at the coffee shop and help Hala with catering on weekends. The money is better than I expected. Hala pays me under the table at first, but then puts me on payroll when she sees I'm reliable. She teaches me how to make dishes I've only eaten at family gatherings, how to season properly, how to time everything so it's all ready at once. She talks while we work, tells me about leaving her own engagement 40 years ago, about the years her parents didn't speak to her, about eventually finding a middle ground where they could have a relationship even if they disagreed. Her stories make me feel less alone. Like maybe there's a path forward that isn't all or nothing. 6 months after I mailed the letter, a thin envelope arrives with my mother's handwriting on it. My hands shake when I open it. The note inside is brief. She writes that my father isn't ready to speak to me, that he's still hurt and angry, but she's willing to talk sometimes if I want. She includes her cell phone number. It's not forgiveness. It's not acceptance. But it's something. I read the note 5 times. Then I save her number in my phone. 8 months after leaving, I move into a better apartment with May as my roommate. It has 2 actual bedrooms and windows that don't stick. The rent is split, so I can afford it while still saving money. May and I develop a routine. She makes coffee in the morning. I cook dinner at night. We study together at the kitchen table. She's taking business classes. I'm working through general education requirements because I still don't know what I want to study. Some nights we talk about our families. She tells me about her parents' expectations. I tell her about the wedding that didn't happen. Neither of us has it figured out, but we're figuring it out together. I start calling my mother every few weeks. The conversations are short and awkward at first. We talk about the weather, about her garden, about my classes. We avoid talking about Danny, about Raj, about my father who still won't come to the phone. It's incomplete and uncomfortable, but it's contact. I'm learning that relationships don't have to be perfect to be real. That healing happens slowly if it happens at all. Sometimes I want to push for more, to demand that she accept my choices completely. But Hala reminds me that change takes time, that my mother is risking something too by talking to me at all. 1 year after driving away in Danny's car, I'm planning my 21st birthday. May insists we celebrate. She invites Rodrigo and Hala and 3 coworkers from the coffee shop. People I chose who chose me back. We meet at a small restaurant. Nothing fancy. Just pizza and beer and a cake that Hala made. They give me cards and small gifts. A journal. A gift card for books. A plant for my apartment. We sit around the table talking and laughing, and I realize this is what I've been building. Not a perfect life. Not an easy life. But a real one that belongs to me. I still miss my family. I still wonder sometimes about the life I left behind. About what would have happened if I'd stayed. But I'm here now. Working full-time for Hala. Taking classes. Living with my best friend. Talking to my mother when she's ready. Building something real from nothing. For the first time, I actually know who I am when I'm just myself.